Hi, I am here in this video today to cover a little bit about CDP, which stands for Cisco Discovery Protocol. The programs I'm going to be using today are Free Screen to Video, offered by Coyote Soft. I've been using that one for a while now, and it's Coyote spelled with a Y, or with a K rather, instead of a C, I'm sorry. They also have a really neat AVI to MP4 converter there that's really cool. Another program I'm going to be using today is Cisco Packet Tracer, offered by the Cisco Net Academy website. This is a really handy tool to have if you're interested in the IT field, if you're studying to become an IT admin. It actually allows you to set up virtual networks and use different devices like switches, routers, and in devices, as well as all the cabling you need as well. So you don't have to go out and buy all this stuff, which usually costs a lot of money in most cases. To get started, Cisco Discovery Protocol is an information gathering tool. It can be used on a switch, ISR, or a router. And then what it does is it basically shares information with all other directly connected Cisco devices. CDP actually begins running when the device boots up. So when the device turns on, that's automatically enabled by default. Um, and then from there it sends messages known as CDP advertisement to its directly connected networks. CDP operates at the layer 2, at layer 2 only, and can be used on many different types of local networks, which are your Ethernet and serial networks. Because of it being a layer 2 protocol, it's actually used a lot to determine statuses of directly connected link when no IP address has been configured or if the IP address is incorrect. And then I'll go ahead and get started here. So I have Packet Tracer open, as you can see, and one of the first things I'm going to do is I'll go into router 1 and I'll go into the command line interface. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to issue the command called show space CDP. What this command does is it shows timer and version information, and as you can see here, it's got the timer, it's got a hold time value, it's showing us that advertisements are enabled, and it sends CDP packets every 60 seconds or 1 minute. If we enter the show space CDP space question mark, that gives us a list of all the other show commands that are useful and that you are able to use. So the one that we're going to try out is show cd neighbors. And what that command does, or wait, I don't think we want to do that yet. The one I was talking about was show interface, sorry. So show interface, and this actually gives us timer information for all of the interfaces on that particular router. And you can click the space bar to scroll through this if you'd like. You can actually specify particular interfaces to show time information for that interface only too, if you wish. It's important to remember that I lost my train of thought. What happens is the router builds the table of information about neighboring devices from CDP messages received from those devices. Now if we enter the show CDP neighbors command, like I was talking about before, when I got ahead of myself a bit there, what that does is let's see. The output on this is a single line of information which is displayed for each device. The information is displayed for should be displayed for switch 1, which it is right here. So here's the information for switch 1, and there's the information for the router 2. I mean, it shows what interface it's connected to, or the local interface the whole time. Take note of the fact that it does show S1 and router 2, which are directly connected, but it does not give us information on router 3, which is not directly connected. As you can see here, there's no, I mean, there's switch 1 and router 2, but there's no router 3. Now, if we enter the command show CDP entry R2 for router 2, the output that you see here is more detailed information about router 2, including the IP address used to reach the router. Not exactly sure why it's not showing us the IP address. Let's try this again. CDP entry router 2. I'm not seeing it there, but it could be up here somewhere. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. But yeah, there should be an IP address up there somewhere. And if we enter the show CDP entry space star command and hit enter, it gives us the same information. Yeah, there's the IP address that I was talking about. For some reason I didn't see it up there, but I do see it on that one. And that's another way of showing basically the same thing that the show CDP entry R2 does. Shows detailed information about all of the devices that are directly connected. Now if we type in show CDP neighbors detail. Oh, whoops, I already covered that. That's the same thing I already did. Sorry. Getting way ahead of myself or something. Now if we go into the router 2 and open up the command line interface, if we type in the show CDP neighbors command again, here the output lists three different directly connected devices. If we actually want to turn off CDP on this router, we can enter global mode by typing en and then compt t, and then we'll type in no CDP run, and that's going to disable the CDP on that router. And to prove that to you, if I type in show CDP neighbors, or wait, let's exit this mode, sorry. You'll notice that CDP is not enabled. I'm going to go back to router 1 for a minute, and then I'll do the show CDP neighbors command again. And the entry for R2 should be removed after 92 seconds. I'm not actually going to wait that long, but you guys are just going to have to trust me here. After 92 seconds, if you enter that command again, the R2 will not be there, because there's no CDP messages were received before the whole time expired. I'll go back into router 2 for a second, and I'm going to enter global, and I'm going to type in CDP run, and that's going to enable CDP on that router again. Um, might be asking yourself, okay, well, what happens if you don't want CDP information to Cisco devices on untrusted networks? There is a way to do that, and the way to do that is to actually disable it on specific interfaces. So if we go into the serial interface by typing interface serial 0/0/1, because that's the type of interface used to connect those two devices. We can type the no CDP enable again, and it's going to turn off CDP on that particular interface. To prove that, we can type in show CDP neighbors. Exit this, sorry. Show CDP neighbors, and on router 2 and router 3, if we do that on router 2 and router 3, the entry on router 2 and router 3 will eventually time out. Again, like I was talking about before, you have to wait for this whole time to do that. I'm not actually going to do that to save time and YouTube's limit and all that. If we go back into router 2, which we already are, and enter global again, we can actually enable CDP on that specific interface if we want by typing the CDP enable command again. Whoop. CDP enable. You piece of crap. Oh, we gotta go into the interface, sorry. Interface serial 0/0/1. And now we should be able to enable it, which we did. And if we exit this, well, before it'll actually turn off after the whole time, but if you wait for the whole time and then enable it again, it'll come back up. And that concludes my video. A couple things to keep in mind. This particular activity had a couple questions. That's kind of like a reflection thing. CDP, in my opinion, would be used to troubleshoot network connectivity issues because it shows, like I've stated before, it can be used a lot of the times to see, if there's a conflict with IP addresses, if there's a conflict as far as the timers, it would usually indicate that there's something wrong with how the packets are moving back and forth. I'm trying to remember exactly what the book says as far as some other things that I might not have mentioned. There's a lot of things that the book mentions about CDP. It can be used to determine the status of a directly connected link. So if the status isn't right, you can kind of figure out what's going on with the directly connected link. It can be used a lot of times if the IP address isn't configured or if the IP address isn't correct, like I was talking about. I'm sure there's more there. And the second question this particular activity said is, do you think an ISP would have CDP configured on its gateway router? And I am almost absolutely sure that an ISP would have that configured on a gateway router to solve IP addressing conflicts and a lot of other things. That concludes my video. I hate to cut this short, but YouTube's time limit's not very good in my opinion. So hope you guys enjoyed this. If you caught any mistakes or if you want to add your feedback or opinion, go ahead and leave me a comment. And I hope you enjoyed watching this.